What's going on, everybody? Got another video here for you. Today we've got a bunch of linear equations we're going to solve. There's 50 of them. And also I have made this document available. You can print it out. It's got all 50 problems on there. You can print them out before you watch the video, and you can try to work them and then watch the video and see if you got them right or not. But the link to it is in the description. So let's get started. All right. So let's do just a little bit different color. I think that'll be pretty good right there. All right. So let's look at number 1. So yeah, you know, when we solve a linear equation, we want to get the variable on one side and the number on the other. You want to get it in this form. You want a variable equals a number. All right, so here we're gonna add 3 to both sides, so we get 9x is equal to negative 18, and then we're going to divide both sides by 9, and so we get x is equal to negative 2. And yes, they get more difficult as we go. All right, so for this one, another one, let's subtract 4 to both sides. So we get negative 5x is equal to negative 15. Divide both sides by negative 5. We get x is equal to 3. This one, we'll subtract 13 to both sides. And so that's going to give us negative 2x is equal to 1. Divide both sides by negative 2. We get x is equal to negative 1/2. And I have not worked these problems yet. I have no idea what the answers are. I just hope I don't make a stupid mistake somewhere. If I make a careless mistake, point it out in the comments. I didn't mean to do it. You know, sometimes you'll write 3 times 2 is 5, or 2 plus 3 is 6, or miss a sign somewhere. That happens to everybody, okay? But hopefully that won't happen. All right, so here we're going to subtract 5 to both sides. So that's going to give us 6x is equal to 12. Divide both sides by 6, and we get x is equal to 2. And if you prefer the x on the left side, you can write x is equal to 2 like that. You can swap them. That's fine. All right, so for this one right here, we want to get x on one side, number on the other. So let's subtract the 2x to both sides, and then at the same time, we're going to add 2 to both sides. We're going to subtract this 2x to both sides, and we're going to add this 2 to both sides. So that's going to give us x is equal to, because see, the 2's cancel out here, the 2x's cancel out here, so 3x minus 2x is x, and then 5 plus 2 is 7. All right, so what about this one? Well, we could subtract the 5x to both sides, but notice if we do that, we'll be left with negative x, and then we'll have to divide both sides by negative 1, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with doing that, but just to save that extra step, let's just go ahead and subtract 4x to both sides, and so that means we would need to add 9 to both sides. And so the 4x's cancel out, the 9's cancel out, and so 3 plus 9 is 12, and then 5x minus 4x is x. And there's your answer. All right, so what about this one? All right, so let's add 3a to both sides. Okay. And then we will subtract 3 to both sides. And so you can see here the 3a's cancel, the 3's cancel here. Negative 5a plus 3a is negative 2a. And then here not x, but 6 minus 3 is 3. And then we'll divide negative 2 to both sides. We get a equals negative 3/2. And there's your answer. All right, so what about this next one here? Well, Notice on the left side and the right hand side, we have common terms. Before we start adding and subtracting to both sides, let's combine the like terms. So we got 4x plus 2x is 6x minus this 3 equals, and then 8x minus x is 7x, and then minus that 3. And then once again here, we're going to subtract 6x to both sides. We could subtract 7x, but that'll leave us with a negative x in front, a negative in front of the x, and then we would have to have that extra step. So we subtract 6x, and then we are going to add 3 to both sides. All right, and so let's see, the 3's go out here, the 3's go out here, the 6's go out here, and so we're left with x is equal to 0. And this is your answer. All right, so what about this one? Well, notice we have parentheses here. So before we can do anything, we need to clear the parentheses. And so that's going to give us negative 3x minus 3 is equal to 7. All right, we just multiplied the negative 3 to each term. And now we're going to add 3 to both sides. So I get negative 3x is equal to 10. Divide both sides by negative 3. We get x is equal to negative 10 thirds. And this is our answer. All right, so let's look at the next one here. All right, come on, screen. Go up. There we go. All right, come on. There we go. All right, so let's clear the parentheses. So we have 10x minus 5 equals 13. So we're going to add 5 to both sides. And so we get 10x is equal to 18. Divide both sides by 10. We get x is equal to 18 over 10. Well, let's just go ahead and write that 18 over 10, and then we want to reduce the fraction, so 2 goes into both of them. That would be 9 over 5, and there's your answer. All right, once again, let's clear the parentheses, so we get 8x minus 4 equals 9x plus 6, and so let's subtract 8x to both sides. Let's subtract 8x, so let's subtract 6 to both sides. And so the 8x is canceled, the 6 is canceled, and we get negative 10 is equal to x. And there's your answer. Same thing here. Let me erase that so we can see the equation better. All right, so we get 5x, and remember when we distribute this, that's distributing a negative 4 there. And so we get 5x minus 4x plus 24 equals negative 11. All right, so 5x minus 4x, we need to combine like terms. X plus 24 equals negative 11. And then we're going to subtract 24 to both sides. And so we get x is equal to negative, what is that, negative 35. And there's your answer. All right. Like I said, hope I don't make a stupid mistake somewhere. It could happen. A lot of problems to work. A lot of mistakes can be made. All right. Let's clear the parentheses. So I get 4n minus 8 minus 3n plus 3 equals 2n plus 12. Okay. All right. Now, let's combine like terms. So I get 4n minus 3n is n. Negative 8 plus 3 is minus 5 equals 2n plus 12. And so I'm going to subtract n to both sides, and I'm going to subtract 12 to both sides. And so the n's cancel, the 12's cancel. I'm left with negative 17 equals n. All right. Clear the parentheses again. All right, I get negative 6x plus 15 equals 8x plus 14. All right, so I guess here it doesn't matter. Let's just add 6x to both sides. Let's subtract 14 to both sides. And so the 6x's cancel, the 14's cancel. We're left with 1 is equal to 14x. All right, divide both sides by 14. I get x is equal to 1 over 14. And there's your answer. All right. Next one. Okay, so you can say we're fixing to get into some different ones. All right. So clear the parentheses. That's going to give me 6x minus 3 minus 10x minus 2 equals 12x plus 16. Combine like terms over here on the left. That's going to be negative 4x minus 5 is equal to 12x plus 16. All right, so let's subtract 12x to both sides, I guess. Subtract 12x, and so that means we'll add 5 to both sides. And so the 5's cancel, the 12x's cancel, so that's going to be negative 16x equals 21. Divide both sides by negative 16. And that's going to tell me x is equal to negative 21 over 16. All right. I don't think I messed up anywhere. 12x, no, looks good. All right. Same thing here. Now remember the negative in front right here, that's like a negative 1 in front. So that's going to be negative 3x. Well, let me change colors again. That's going to be negative 3x plus, negative 3x, I almost messed up, plus 1, plus 2x plus 3, that's just distributing a positive 1, equals negative 4 plus 3x minus 3. All right. Combine like terms, so that's going to give us negative x plus 4 is equal to 3x minus 7. Let's subtract 3x to both sides. Let's subtract 4 to both sides. So the 3x is canceled, the 4's canceled. That's negative 4x is equal to negative 11. Divide negative 4 to both sides. So that's going to tell us x is equal to a positive 11 over 4 because we have a negative over a negative. All right. So now this one, clear the parentheses, negative 2y plus 8 minus 3y plus 1 equals negative 1 plus 5y plus 5. Combine like terms, y plus 9 is equal to 5y plus 4. Let's subtract 5y to both sides. Let's subtract 9 to both sides. The 5y's cancel, the 9's cancel. We are left with negative 4y is equal to negative 5. Divide everything by negative 4. That's going to give us y equals 5 over 9. And there's your answer. All right. So what about this one right here? All right, so notice we have a single fraction on each side. There's one term on each side. We got this fraction equals this fraction. So for this one, if you want, you can just cross multiply. And so that's going to give us negative 6x equals, 36. Divide everything by negative 6. I get x is equal to negative 6. And there's your answer. All right. All right, so what about this one? Well, same thing here. We got single terms on each side. We can look at this as being 12 over 1, and we can cross multiply. And so that's going to give us, let's put the negative up there with the 6x. That's going to give us negative 6x equals, what was that, 84? And so then we're going to divide by negative 6. And so x is equal to negative 14. And there's your answer. Now, here I've got a little typo. I'm thinking that should be an equal sign right there. It's a minus. It should be an equal sign. All right, so here we're going to cross multiply. So I get 3x is equal to 2. 3 times x is 3x. 2 times 1 is 2. Divide both sides by 3. I get x is equal to 2/3. All right, now let's look at this one. So here we have fractions. Notice we don't have just single terms on each side. So we need to get a common denominator. So the common denominator of 4 and 12 is 12. So I'm going to multiply each term by the common denominator. Oh, that's an x right there. 6 times 12. And so the 12 and the 4 cancel. I'm left with 3. So that's 3x minus, and here the 12s cancel. So minus x is equal to 6 times 12. That's 72. And so now I combine like terms. So 8x is equal to 72. Divide both sides by 8. So that's going to give me x is equal to 9. All right. All right, same thing here. Get a common denominator. Common denominator here is 15. So we're going to multiply everything through by 15. All right, so here the 15 and the 3 cancel. I'm left with 5. That's going to be 10x minus the 15 and the 5 cancel. I'll be left with 3. So that's 3x equals, and then 15 times 7 is 105. 105. So that's going to give me 10x minus 3x is 7x equals 105. Divide everything by 7. And I get x is equal to 15. All right, so what about this one? Next one, let's multiply everything through by 10. So 10 times h over 10 times h over 2 plus 10 times h over 5 equals 10 times 1. So the 10 and the 2 cancel. I'm left with 5. That's 5h plus the 10 and the 5 cancel. I'm left with a 2 here, so that's plus 2h equals 10. And so that's 7h equals 10. Divide everything by 7, and I get h is equal to 10 over 7. All right. All right, next problem. Multiply by the common denominator, which in this case is 10. So I've got 10 times 4y over 5 minus 7 times 10 equals 10 times y over 10. So the 10 and the 5 cancel. I'm left with the 2. So that's 8y equals 8y minus 70 equals, and then here the 10s cancel. So I'm left with just a y. So let's subtract 8y to both sides, and that's going to give me negative 70 is equal to negative 7y. Divide everything by negative 7. I get y is equal to 10. And there's your answer. All right, we're moving along. All right, so here, common denominator is 10. Multiply everything through by the common denominator. 10 times x over 5 minus 10 times 2 equals 10 times x over 2 plus 10 times 1. And so the 10 and the 5 cancel. I'm left with 2. Here the 2 and the 10 cancel, so I'm left with a 5. And so that's 2x minus 20 equals 5x plus 10. So let's subtract 5x to both sides. Let's add 20 to both sides. The 5x's cancel, the 20's cancel. I'm left with negative 3x equals 30. Divide both sides by negative 3. X is equal to negative 10. Next problem, common denominator is 12. So I've got 12 times x plus 2 over 3. Well, let's do it like this. 12 times x plus 2 over 3 plus 12 times x minus 1 over 4 equals 12 times 9 over 2. And so the 12 and the 3 cancel, I'm left with 4. The 4 and the 12 cancel, I'm left with 3. The 2 and the 12 cancel, I'm left with a 6. And so that's going to be 4 times x plus 2 plus 3 times x minus 1 equals, and then 9 times 6 would give me 54. Now I have to clear the parentheses, so that's 4x plus 8 plus 3x minus 3 is equal to 54. Combine like terms, 7x plus 5 is equal to 54. Subtract 5 to both sides. Well, look at this. I get 7x equals 49. Divide both sides by 7. X is equal to 7. All right, we're over halfway finished. So let's finish working these problems. All right, so now I need a common denominator of 7, 4, and 14. And I believe that is 28. So let's do something a little bit different. Let's write it a little different than what we have been. Notice here I've been doing this step here in all of these, this little extra step here where I write the common denominator next to each term. Let's do this. We're going to multiply through by 28, our common denominator. So notice 7 goes into 28 4 times, right? So that's going to be 4 times x plus 5. 4 goes into 28 7 times, so that's going to be plus 7 times x minus 3. And 14 goes into 28 2 times, so that's going to be 2 times 5. So clear the parentheses, 4x plus 20 plus 7x minus 21 equals 10. Combine like terms, 11x minus 1 is equal to 10. Add 1 to both sides, we get 11x equals 11. Divide both sides by 11, we get x is equal to 1. All right, next problem. We get a common denominator. Common denominator is what? 24. Now, I know a lot of people, what they want to do when they get the common denominator, they just want to multiply the two and say common denominator is 48. And yeah, that's right. 48 is a common denominator. But the numbers that you're going to have to deal with are going to be a lot bigger. Okay? So the best thing to do is get the least common denominator, the smallest common denominator you can get. All right, 6 goes into 24 4 times. So that's going to be 4 times 2x minus 5 minus, and then 8 goes into 24 3 times, so minus 3 times 3x minus 4, and then 24 times 0, well, we'll write it out, and then 24 times the 0. So that's going to give us 8x minus 20 minus 9x plus 12 equals 0. Combine like terms, that's negative x minus, what is that, 8, negative x, negative 20 plus, equals 0. So let's add the x to both sides. And so that's going to give us x is equal to negative 8. All right, moving right along. Common denominator here is 6. All right. 2 goes into 6 3 times. So that's going to be 3 times x minus 3. Minus 6 goes into 6 1 time, so that's 1 times 4x minus 1. And then 3 goes into 6 2 times, so that's going to be 2 times 2. So we get 3x minus 9 minus 4x plus 1 equals 4. Combine like terms, that's going to be negative x minus 8 equals, what is that, 4? So let's add 8 to both sides. So we get negative x equals 12. And then here we'll have to divide through by negative 1, so we get x is negative 12. All right, next problem. Common denominator is 4, so we're going to multiply everything by 4. 2 goes into 4 2 times, so that's 2 times 3x minus 1, plus 4 goes into 4 1 time, so that's 1 times x minus 3. 2 goes into 4 2 times, so that's 2 times 1. Let's clear the parentheses. That's 6x minus 2 plus x minus 3 equals 2. Combine like terms, that's going to be 7x minus 5 equals 2. Add 5 to both sides, we get 7x equals 7. Divide everything by 7, x is equal to 1. All right, we're getting there. All right, common denominator. Common denominator is 12. 6 goes into 12 2 times, so that's 2 times 2x plus 3. Minus 4 goes into 12 3 times, minus 3 times x minus 9 equals, that's a 9 there. Let me write that again. Doesn't look very good. Equals 5 times 12. So we get 5x plus 6 minus 3x plus 27 equals 5 times 12. That will give us 60. Combine like terms, that's going to be x plus, what is that, 33 equals 60. 6 plus 27 is 33. Yep. Subtract 33 to both sides. We get x is equal to 60 minus 33 is 27. Like I said, if I make a stupid mistake somewhere, add, subtract, multiply something wrong, let me know in the comments. Common denominator of 9 and 12. Well, that's going to be what? 36. All right, 9 goes into 36 4 times, so that's 4 times 2x plus 7 minus 4 times 36 equals 12 goes into 36 3 times, so that's going to be 3 times x minus 7. And so that's going to be 8x plus, what was that, 28. 4 times 36, I'm going to have to punch that in the calculator. That's minus 144 is equal to 3x minus 21. All right, so combine like terms. So I get 8x, and then we got 28 minus 144. That's going to be minus 116 is equal to 3x minus 21. I'm going to subtract 3x to both sides. I'm going to add 116 to both sides. So I get 5x is, see the 116, 3x is cancel. So that's going to give me 116 minus 21 is 95. I'm going to divide everything by 5. So x is equal to 19. And yes, I'm using a calculator just so I don't make a stupid calculation in my head. All right. 8 and 7. What is the common denominator of 8 and 7? Well, I guess we'll go and use, let's use 56. That's probably the least common. All right. 8 goes into 56 7 times, so I got 7 times 3x minus 1 minus 2 times 56 is equal to 7 goes into 56 8 times 2x plus 5. Clear the parentheses, 21x minus 7 minus 2 times 56 is 112 equals 16x plus 40. Combine like terms, so that's 21x minus 119 equals 16x plus 40. So let's subtract 16x to both sides, and let's add 119 to both sides. And so that's going to give me what? 5x is equal to, what is that? That 159. And so divide 5 to both sides. So I get x is equal to 159 over 5. Well, that looks like a funny answer. I might have made a careless mistake somewhere. I don't know. I'm going to pause and check. All right, so that don't look like I made a mistake. And I might have checked over it wrong, but anyway, I think that's right. All right, here we go. Common denominator is 4. 2 goes into 4 2 times, so that's 2 times 3x minus 1, plus 4 goes into 4 1 times x minus 3, equals 2 goes into 4 2 times 1. And, you know, I mean, look, I always tell my students, just because the answer doesn't look right doesn't mean it's wrong. And I kind of did that same thing right there. But let me say this. If you get an answer like that, okay, you know, with getting the 5 here, you know, getting this 5, I'm kind of expecting, okay, maybe this number over here is going to be divisible by 5. And it wasn't. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that might be an indicator. Hey, go back and check to see if maybe if I added or subtracted something wrong. Okay, and if you didn't, then you didn't. That's fine. All right, clear the parentheses. All right, so we've got 6x minus 2 plus x minus 3 equals 2. Combine like terms, 7x minus 5 equals 2. Add 5 to both sides. I get 7x equals 7. Divide both sides by 7. X is equal to 1. All right, we're getting closer and closer. Yeah, there's a bunch of fractions here, but we're going to have some of this kind of stuff here. And we've got this, you know, some stuff that's a little more challenging, I guess. Then we've got these. Then we've got some with the variable in the denominator. And then we got some nasty ones like this. And we got some decimals. So hang on. The more you work, the more practice you get, so that's a good thing. All right, we'll get a common denominator of 12. 6 goes into 12 2 times. 2 times 2x minus, 2 times 2x minus 3. 4 goes into 12 3 times, so that's plus 3 times 3x minus 2. 12 goes into 12 1 time, so that's plus 1 times 5x plus 6. And then we've got equals 2 times 12. So that's going to give us 4x minus 6 plus 9x minus 6 plus 5x plus 6 equals 24. So let's combine like terms. I've got 4x plus 9x plus 5x. That's going to be, what is that, 18x? And then that's negative 12. That goes out. Minus 6 equals 24. I think that's right. I'm going to double check. All right. So then we're going to add 6 to both sides. So that gives me 18x is equal to 30. Divide both sides by 18. X is equal to, so when I simplify this, let's see, 3 goes into, let's see, 6 goes into both of them. So that's going to be 5/3. All right. Here, we're going to multiply everything by 8. 8 goes into 8 one time, so that's 1 times 3x minus 1, plus 8 times y minus 2 times 8, and 4 goes into 8 2 times, so that's 2 times x plus 4. And so we got 3x minus 3 plus 8y minus 16 equals what's that? 2x plus 8. Combine like terms. I don't know why I put a y. This right here should be an x. Okay, that should be an x. What this y was, that should be an x. All right, so we get 11x minus 19 equals 2x plus 8. So we're going to subtract 2x to both sides. We're going to add 19 to both sides. So we're going to get 9x is equal to, oh, that's 27. Divide everything by 9. We're going to get x equal 3. There we go. All right, so what about this one? Well, let's multiply everything by 14. 14 goes into 14 one time, so 1 times 2x plus 1. 7 goes into 14 twice, so that's 2 times 3x plus 4. And then 2 goes into 14 7 times, so that's 7 times x minus 1. Clear the parentheses, 2x plus 1 minus 6x minus 8 equals 7x minus 7. Combine like terms. So that's going to be 8x minus 7 equals 7x minus 7. Subtract 7x to both sides. Add 7 to both sides. 7x's go, the 7's go, and these 7's go too. So that's x is equal to 0. All right. So this one, we're going to multiply everything through by 18. So that's going to be 18x plus 9 goes into 18 2 times. So that's 2 times 2x minus 3 minus 2 times 18 equals 3 goes into 18 6 times. 6 times 2x plus 1. So I've got 18x plus 4x minus 6 minus 36 equals 12x plus 6. Combine like terms. So that's going to be what? 22x minus 42 is equal to 12x plus 6. All right, so let's subtract 12x to both sides. Let's add 42 to both sides. So the 42's go, the 12x's go. So that looks like that is going to be 34. X is equal to, what is that, 48. Divide both sides by 34. And so we're going to get x is equal to, so if we do 48 over 34, that fraction is going to reduce to 24 over 17. All right, so I double checked that one too, so looks like everything's good. All right, so this one here, notice we've got this. We've got to multiply this out first. We've got to FOIL it. So x times x is x squared. And then we've got negative x plus negative 3x is negative 4x. And then negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 1. Positive 3. We're just foiling it. First, outside, inside, last. Okay. And then we're going to distribute the minus x. So minus x squared minus 2x equals 7. And obviously, when we combine like terms, the x squareds are going to go out because we're solving linear equations. And that's going to leave me with negative 6x plus 3 equals 7. I'm going to subtract 3 to both sides, so I get negative 6x equals 4. Divide everything by negative 6. X is equal to negative 2/3. All right, we got 10 problems left. Hang in there if you've come this far. All right, we're going to FOIL. So first, 3x times x is 3x squared. And then I've got negative 6x plus 4x is minus 2x. And then 4 times negative 2 is minus 8. minus 3x squared minus 9x equals 3. So the 3x squareds are going to go out. I've got negative 2x minus 9x is minus 11x minus 8 is equal to 3. And then I'm going to add 8 to both sides. I get negative 11x equals 11. Divide everything by negative 11. That is an 11 up there. Doesn't look like it. And so I'm going to get x is equal to negative 1. All right. All right, let's see. Let's FOIL. So I get 2x times 3x is 6x squared. Negative 4x plus 3x is minus x. And 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. And then minus FOIL. 6x times 6x is 6x squared. 6x times 4, that's 24x minus x is 23x, and negative 1 times 4 is negative 4, and that equals negative 20x. Now, this is very important here. Notice it's minus this product here. So once you FOIL that out, you have to put that in parentheses. Okay? So now we've got 6x squared minus x minus 2. Now we're going to distribute the negative. Minus 6x squared minus 23x plus 4 equals negative 20x. Combine like terms, the 6x squareds go out. So that's going to give me negative 24x, negative x minus 23x is minus 24x minus 2 plus 4 is plus 2 equals negative 20x. And then I'm going to add 24x to both sides. That's going to give me 2 equals 4x. Divide both sides by 4. I'm going to get x is equal to 1/2. All right. Now this one, so let's FOIL this. So that's going to be 4x times x is 4x squared, and then I got 8x minus 3x is 5x. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6 minus. Now this 2x plus 3 squared. Remember, that is 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3. So that's going to be 4x squared, and then I've got 6x plus 6x is 12x, and then 3 times 3 is 9, and that equals negative 1. And don't forget, that has to be in parentheses because it's minus this right here. So it's minus that whole thing. So I get 4x squared plus 5x minus 6 minus 4x squared minus 12x minus 9 equals negative 1. The 4x squareds cancel, and then I've got 5x minus 12x is negative 7x, and then negative 6 minus 9, that's negative 15 equals negative 1. Yep. And so then we're going to add 15 to both sides. I get negative 7x equals 14. Divide everything by negative 7. I get x is equal to negative 2. All right, we're getting there. We're almost done. All right, let's clear the parentheses. So I get 2x plus 2 equals 2x plus 3. I'm going to subtract 2x to both sides. I'm going to subtract 2 to both sides. Those cancel. Those cancel. We're left with 0 equals 1. All right, so let's take a look at what happened here. The x's went out, and we got 0 equals 1. Is that a true statement? No. 0 does not equal 1, so this one would be no solution. All right, what about this one? We've got 4x plus 6 equals 6x plus 6 minus 2x. Combine like terms. 4x plus 6 equals 4x plus 6. Oh, look at this. Subtract 4x to both sides. Subtract 6 to both sides. We get 0 equals 0. The variables went out again, but this time we get 0 equals 0. Is that a true statement? Yes. So this one would be all real numbers. And this is called an identity. All right. So here we go. All right, let's get a common denominator. Here, common denominator is 2x. So we're going to multiply everything through by 2x. So x goes into 2x. We're left with just the 2, so that's 2 times 4. 2x, 2x, we're left over with a 1, so that's equal to 1 times 5. And then that's plus 3 times 2x. And so that's going to give us 8 equals 5 plus 6x. Subtract 5 to both sides. And that's going to leave us with 3 equals 6x. Divide both sides by 6. X is equal to 1/2. Now, let's talk about this real quick. I don't know if it happens in the next problem or not. So I'm going to just go ahead and, I'll tell you what, let's work this one and then I'll talk about it. Because it might happen in this one. I don't know. All right, so let's get a common denominator. So the common denominator here is going to be 12x. Yep. All right, so 3x goes into 12x. We'll be left with a 4. So that's going to be 4 times 2 plus, and then the 4 goes into the 12x. That's 3x left over. So 1 times 3x equals, and then 6x goes into 12x. We'll be left with a 2. So that equals 2 times 11. And then 3 goes into 12x. We'll be left with a 4. So that's minus 1 times 4. So that's going to be 8 plus 3x equals 22. This is going to be times 1 times 4x. 22 minus 4x. I forgot to bring the x with me. Yep. All right, so let's add the 4x to both sides. And let's subtract 8 to both sides. So that is going to leave me with 7x is equal to, and then we've got 22 minus 8 is 14. And so divide by 7, I get x is equal to 2. All right, so let me talk about this for just a second. It didn't happen, but it can. You've got to, the first thing you've got to know, and I didn't mention it because I didn't know if one of these did this or not, and then when it happened, then I wanted to talk about it. But anyway, notice we've got x in the denominator. You have to put a restriction on these that says x cannot equal 0 on both of these. And why is that? Because when we look at the denominator, we notice if x is 0, that would make the fraction undefined in number 45 and also in number 46. You'll get into this more when you start solving rational equations, when you really get into that. But you have to list your restrictions, and your restrictions are what makes the denominator 0. And so then when you go to solve your solution, if you solve and you get x is equal to your restriction, and in some of them you'll have more than one restriction, then you have to cross that out. That's not a possibility to be the solution. I just want to talk about that for just a second. But anyway, that's what that is. All right, so let's look at this one. Oh, this looks like a lot of fun, doesn't it? All right, so here we've got what? We've got 25 minus, all right, and then that's going to be 2 plus 5y minus 3y minus 6. Okay, so what I did here is I cleared these parentheses in here. And then, let's see, we've got equals negative 6y plus 15. And then I'm going to clear the parentheses in here, this and this. So that's going to be minus, and that's going to be 5y minus 5 minus 3y plus 3. Okay, so I just distributed that 5. I haven't done anything with that minus or this minus in front here. So now what I'm going to do is inside these brackets here, I'm going to combine like terms. So that's going to be 25 minus, and then that's going to be, what is that? 2y minus 4 equals negative 6y plus 15 minus, and then in here we're going to get 2y minus 2. All right. Now let's clear the brackets here. So that's going to be 25 minus 2y plus 8 equals negative 6y plus 15 minus 2y plus 2. Combine like terms, so that's negative 2y plus, was that 33, is equal to negative 8y plus 17. So now I'm going to add 8y to both sides. I'm going to subtract 33 to both sides. So I get 6y is equal to negative 33 plus 17 is negative 16. Divide everything by 6. I'm going to get y is equal to negative, what is that, 8/3. I don't think I made a mistake anywhere. If I did, I did. You get the idea of how to do it. And when I talk about a mistake, I mean a sign error, multiplication, or addition. I don't think I did. I'm going to double check real quick, but I don't think I did. Alrighty, let's back it up. I did mess up, and I don't know why I did it. I think what I was doing when I was this minus right here, when I was distributing that, I was looking at that 2, and I don't know why in the world I multiplied 2 times minus 4. But I did. I multiplied negative 2 times negative 4. That's what I'm talking about. Stupid mistakes like that. So we need to change this to a plus 4. Now let's erase this. You know, I figured it was bound to happen sometime, working this many problems with all this junk. All right, so now we have minus 2y plus 29. Yep, is equal to negative 8y plus 17. Now let's add 8y to both sides. Let's subtract 29 to both sides. And so that's going to give us 6y is equal to, and then we have 17 minus 29 is negative 12. Divide both sides by 6, so we get y is equal to negative 2. Look at that. See, that's what I'm talking about. We got a fraction. That fraction didn't look too bad for the answer. Okay? It didn't look that bad. But, so, you know, the fraction, I don't know what I was saying. I got a phone call from my daughter, so I had to take it and pause. But anyway, what I was saying is that fraction, it wasn't that bad, but it kind of threw me up. Okay, well, let me just go back and check real quick. And see, when I went back and checked, I found the mistake. Now, I had to do that earlier in the video. And when I went back through and checked, I might not have caught my mistake. I don't know. But I'm sure I'll know when y'all say something to me. All right, let's look at this one. So let's work in here first. So here we've got, all right, we're going to have 9 squared, 3 plus 6 working inside the parentheses, divided by 3, and then this is times 4 equals negative 54x. And so this is going to be what? This is 81 divided by 3 times 4 equals negative 54x. And then we have 81 divided by 3 is 27 times 4 equals negative 54x. We've got to work inside the grouping symbols first, parentheses. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Don't forget that. And so then we've got 27 times 4 is 108 is equal to negative 54x. Divide both sides by negative 54. I get x is equal to -2. And there's our answer. All right, so let's look at this when we've got decimals. So what we want to do here, whenever you're solving an equation with decimals in it, get rid of the decimals. If you multiply a number by 10, that moves the decimal one place to the right. Multiply by 100 moves it 2 places to the right, 1,000 3 places, and so on. So you can see when we look at these numbers here, we see the 5.1, the 7.26, and the 7.51. The most number of places that we have to move the decimal to get rid of them is 2. So that means we are going to multiply everything by 100. So we multiply the 5.1. If you take 5.1, you multiply it by 100, it moves it 2 places to the right. You got to add a 0. So that's going to be 510x plus, move it 2 places to the right, 726 equals, move it 2 places to the right, that's 751 plus, and then 5x times 100 is 500x. All right, don't have to combine like terms, but here we're going to subtract 500x to both sides. We're going to subtract 726 to both sides. So the 500s cancel, the 726s cancel. We're going to be left with 10x is equal to, so we've got 751 minus 726, and that leaves us with 25. Divide both sides by 10. We get x is equal to, so that's going to be 5 halves. You could put 2.5. It don't matter. Okay, so there's your answer. All right, now let's look at this one. So the most that we have to move the decimal is 3 places. So we want to multiply everything by 1,000. And so this is going to give us negative 690 minus 550 times 0.1 minus 0.48x. All right, so you multiply, what happened? All right, so you multiply the 1,000 times this number in front. You don't multiply it to the ones in the inside also. Okay? You don't do that. And that is equal to 464x minus 3416. All right. Now, here you're probably just going to have to get a calculator. You're going to have to you've got to distribute this. Okay? So that's negative 6. Now let me get back to the right color marker. So you've got negative 690 minus, and then we got 550 times 0.1 is 55. And then we've got 550 times 0.48. That's 264. So that's plus 264x is equal to 464x minus 3416. Combine like terms, that's going to be negative 690 plus 264. That's going to give us negative 426x. Oh, wait a minute. That's not an x on there. What am I doing, you dummy? That's going to be 264x, and then I've got negative 690 minus 55. That's going to be negative 745 equals 464x minus 3416. So I'm going to subtract 464x to both sides. And then I'm going to add 745 to both sides. And so I've got negative 464 plus 264. That's 200. I don't know why I had to put that in. I saw that right off. And then I've got 3416 minus 745. and that is 2671. So that's what we got for that one. So let's see if I made a mistake somewhere. All right, and this is a plus right here, and when we do that, that will be a minus. And so then we we divide negative 200 to both sides, so we get x is equal to 2671 over 200. And there's your answer, and that is the last problem. We went just over an hour. All right, to work 50 problems. So that wasn't too bad. Took us a little over, on average, a little over a minute to work the problems. That's not too bad. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that helped. Check out my other videos. Give me a like, share, subscribe, comment, and I will see y'all in the next one. Later.